In this video, we explore some of the most devastating disasters that have left a lasting impact on the world, starting off with number 5, the Titanic. The unsinkable ship that, well, sank. Talk about irony. Over 1,500 lives lost in icy waters. Next up, number 4, the Great Fire of London, 1666. A bakery mishap that turned the city into a bonfire. Took 3 days to contain, sliding into number 3, the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. Shook the city awake at dawn, then the fires finished the job. Over 80% of the city destroyed. Now for number 2, Hurricane Katrina, 2005. A storm so fierce it reshaped the Gulf Coast. Left thousands homeless and the aftermath unforgettable. Finally, number 1, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. A colossal wave triggered by an undersea earthquake. Over 230,000 lives lost across 14 countries, truly devastating. Disasters remind us of nature's power. Stay curious, stay prepared, and stay safe. Empires rise and fall, but only a few leave a lasting legacy. Let's explore the top 5 most influential empires in history. Number 5, the Mongol Empire. At its peak, it was the largest contiguous empire ever, stretching from Europe to Asia. Their conquests reshaped the world map and trade routes forever. Number 4, the British Empire. Spanning across every continent, it was the empire where the sun never set. It revolutionized global trade and politics. Number 3, the Roman Empire. Known for its unmatched military strength and architectural marvels, it laid the foundation for modern Western civilization. Number 2, the Ottoman Empire. Lasting over 600 years, it was a melting pot of cultures and religions, influencing art, science, and politics across 3 continents. And finally, number 1, the Chinese Empire. China's dynasties such as the Han, Tang, and Qing made major contributions to art, science, and philosophy. The Silk Road connected China to the rest of the world, fostering global trade and cultural exchange. These are the top 5 most devastating terrorist attacks in US history. Disclaimer, this is not for the faint-hearted. Number 5, the Pulse nightclub shooting. In 2016, a gunman opened fire in a popular Orlando nightclub, tragically ending 49 lives. Number 4, the Mountain Meadows massacre. Back in 1857, a group of settlers were brutally ambushed in Utah. Around 120 men, women, and children lost their lives in this horrific act. Number 3, the Tulsa Race Massacre. In 1921, the thriving black community of Greenwood was destroyed in a racially motivated attack. Countless lives were lost and homes burnt to the ground. Number 2, the Oklahoma City bombing. In 1995, a massive explosion destroyed the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, killing 168 people and injuring hundreds more. The nation was left in disbelief. And finally, number 1, the September 11th attacks. In 2001, 19 Al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked planes and crashed them into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, claiming nearly 3,000 lives. It's a day that changed America forever. Why do 99% of humans go, whoa? Because these world records are simply unbelievable. First up, we've got the fastest time to solve 3 Rubik's Cubes while juggling them. This brainy juggler crushed it in just 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Next, meet the guy who pogo-sticked up Mount Kilimanjaro. Yup, you heard that right. He bounced his way to the top in only 51 days. Ever heard of the largest human mattress dominoes? Imagine 2,019 people toppling over in sync. That's a whole lot of mattresses. Here's one for the foodies, the biggest pizza ever made. We're talking a pie over 13,580 square feet. That's enough to feed a small country. And finally, the longest time spent submerged in ice. This Iceman stayed chill for an astonishing 2 hours and 30 minutes. So what do you think? Could you break a world record? Here are the top 5 military disasters you won't believe. Kicking off our list at number 5, the charge of the Light Brigade in 1854. Imagine charging headlong into enemy cannons due to a miscommunication. Cringeworthy, right? Next up, number 4, Operation Barbarossa, 1941. Nazi Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union. Spoiler, it didn't end well. Wanna guess why? Winter came early, and so did their defeat. Sliding into number 3, the Battle of Caransebeș, 1788. Austrian troops ended up fighting themselves. Yep, friendly fire before it was a thing. Coming in at number 2, the Gallipoli Campaign, 1915. A failed Allied military operation aimed at capturing the Ottoman capital of Constantinople, resulting in heavy casualties and a significant defeat for the Allies. Total catastrophe. And finally, number 1, the Battle of Little Bighorn, 1876. General Custer's last stand. Outnumbered, outgunned, and outsmarted by Native American forces. Talk about a historical facepalm. This is going to blow your mind. The shortest wars in history were quicker than your lunch break. Let's dive in. Number 1, the Falklands War. 42 days. The UK versus Argentina in 1982. It was a sprint, not a marathon. Number 2, Georgian-Armenian War. 24 days in 1918. They fought, they stopped, they signed a treaty. Quick and to the point. Number 3, Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. 13 days. That's all it took for India to say, "Game over, Pakistan." Short but intense. Number 4, the Six-Day War. 1967, Israel versus Egypt, Jordan and Syria. 6 days of blitz, and Israel's like, who's next? Number 5, the Anglo-Zanzibar War. 38 minutes. Blink and you missed it. British forces said, "Time's up." And that was that. Next time you think wars drag on forever, remember these historical sprints. They were over before you could say world peace. Stay curious, history buffs. I'm sure you've heard the news. Our planet is in trouble. Here are the top 5 environmental disasters shaking up the world. Number 1, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This floating island of plastic is twice the size of Texas. It's choking our oceans and devastating marine life. Number 2, the Amazon rainforest fires. Every year, thousands of fires rage through the lungs of our Earth, destroying biodiversity and accelerating climate change. Number 3, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Decades later, radiation continues to haunt the area, affecting wildlife and human health. Number 4, the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Over 11 million gallons of oil spilled into Alaskan waters, causing massive destruction to marine ecosystems. And finally, number 5, the Dust Bowl of the 1930s in America and Canada. This man-made disaster turned fertile soil into desert, displacing thousands of families and altering the landscape forever. These disasters are a wake-up call. We need to take action now to protect our planet for future generations. Prepare for a dive into history's most chaotic financial collapses in the top 5 worst economic meltdowns. Ranked at number 5, the 2010 European debt crisis. Greece, teetering on the edge of financial disaster. Greek debt reached 175% of GDP. At number 4, the 2001 dot-com bubble. Tech stocks were the new gold until they weren't. Nasdaq lost 78% of its value. Ranked 3rd, the 1997 Asian financial crisis. Countries like Thailand and South Korea saw their economies crumble. Thailand's currency, the baht, lost over half its value. At number 2, the 2008 global financial crisis. Banks fell, housing markets collapsed, and the world economy nearly went kaput. And ranked at number 1, 1929, the Great Depression. Wall Street turned into Heartbreak Street overnight. The stock market lost nearly 90% of its value. Unemployment in the US reached 25%, meaning 1 in 4 Americans was out of work. Over 9,000 banks failed, erasing life savings for millions. Exposing the wonders of ancient history. You won't believe what these civilizations achieved. First up, ancient Egypt. Think pharaohs, pyramids, and the mysterious Sphinx. They even had a hieroglyphic writing system. Next, the Greeks. They gave us the Olympics, democracy, and epic mythology. Ever heard of Zeus? Yeah, he's their guy. Don't forget about the Romans. They built an empire stretching from Britain to Africa. Romans were masters of engineering. Ever visited a real-life aqueduct? Now let's talk about the Mayans. They were math wizards and astronomy geniuses. Their calendar was insanely accurate. Plus, they had those jaw-dropping step pyramids. Finally, the Chinese. From the Great Wall to the Terracotta Army, their innovations in paper, gunpowder, and silk changed the game. So there you have it. 5 ancient civilizations who rocked our world and shaped history. Which one fascinates you the most? If you're a history buff, then you need to check this out. Here are the top 5 events that shaped our world. Number 1, the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in 1440. This game changer made books available to everyone, not just the rich. Next up, number 2, the American Revolution in 1776. This fight for freedom inspired revolutions and democracy around the globe. Number 3, the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century. Steam engines, factories, and mass production. This era transformed the way we live and work. Number 4, World War II from 1939 to 1945. This devastating conflict reshaped borders, politics, and societies across continents. And finally, number 5, the moon landing in 1969. Neil Armstrong's giant leap for mankind proved that space is the new frontier. So, there you have it. 5 epic events that left their mark on history. What's your favorite moment?